Hello, welcome to Finance Sister. This is my channel where we talk about everything related to money and having a balanced lifestyle. Before we go any further, please go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel so that you get future notifications on when videos are posted. For many people right now, there's a lot of unknowns and things are getting a little scary depending on if you've had your income affected, what that looks like for you. But I wanted to talk really quickly about do's and don'ts in a volatile market. So a few things that you absolutely do not want to do, depending on the situation that you're in right now. But if you have any kind of investments and you are tempted to pull them out, please don't do that. The only time that you can secure the fact that you are losing money is if you actually pull that money out of the account that it has been sitting in. Markets have been on the uprise for the last couple of years, so you've been buying at higher and higher prices. If you sell now, then that guarantees that you have lost money over those investments because the price of those funds have gone down. So you are buying high and selling low. If you let it ride out, just like a roller coaster, it's going to come back up. And you want to make sure that you're able to ride that wave when it goes back up instead of pulling it out and letting it sit in a savings account with guaranteeing that it's not going to increase or rise at all. So please don't pull out any investments. If you're scared, don't do anything. If you don't know what to do, don't do anything with your investments. Just keep it there. Because I guarantee you in the next year or two, we're going to see an increase. And even if it's not over the next year or two, it's going to be over the next 5 or 10 year period of time. It will recoup the costs. Now, if you are a little bit closer to retirement, obviously I am not a financial advisor, so please don't take my advice as fact or truth. Please go talk to your financial advisor, talk about some ways that you could potentially minimize the loss. Another thing that you should try to not do during a volatile market or crises, anything where things are a little bit uneven and you're not absolutely positive that your income or your current financial situation is going to stay the same throughout the time of this whatever is going on. So you're trying to work your baby steps, if you're trying to pay off debt, if you're trying to invest a lot more, or if you're trying to buy a house and you're a little bit unsure on the stability of your job or your income, just pile up some cash. Don't try to make any massive decisions or put you in a place where you don't have enough money to get you through the next couple months, depending on what happens. So instead of aggressively working on your financial goals, just hold off and save money and pile it up. When this thing has finished, when you are absolutely sure that your income or your financial situation will not be affected, then continue on with your financial goals. The last thing I'm going to touch on that you should not do is bandwagon off of what everybody else is doing or pile up on things that you're not actually going to use in terms of food, supplies. Don't just buy it because you think, oh, I might need this in the future. Yes, do that to a certain degree. If you have a month's supply of frozen foods or foods in your pantry that you can use for meals over the next month, if things honestly do get really crazy for some reason, then that's great. But only buy the foods that you're actually going to buy, even if you don't end up needing to use it. So basically, don't blow your budget on buying things that are excessive and the things that other people are telling you or think that you should buy. Buy things that you know that you and your household are actually going to use and consume, even if this doesn't end up happening. All right, now that we've gone through the don'ts, let's go through what you should actually do in a volatile market in order to make sure that you and your family are financially okay. So first and foremost, if your job is not at risk, if you are in the healthcare industry, if you are a firefighter, in the law enforcement, government, anything like that, you have an extremely high chance of not being affected in terms of income from this coronavirus crises. So you honestly don't need to make too many changes in terms of how you are going about your financial goals, whether that's paying off debt, saving an emergency fund. investing more, buying a house, whatever it may be, this is a great time for you to just keep on going on and don't feel like you need to adjust things just because other people could be affected in a very severe way. The second thing you absolutely should do, if you haven't already, is get prepared for when the next time something like this happens. What do you have to do in order to get your finances in place so that you are prepared for when something like this happens, or if your income is affected? So that would mean paying off debt that you have, saving an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses that you don't touch unless something like this happens where you potentially have a loss of income and you need to float some expenses for a couple months. It's not a big deal when you have savings set aside there for occasions like that. The third thing you should do in a volatile market, again, depending on your financial standing, is look for opportunities. This could be financial or otherwise, but depending on where you are at, look for opportunities to possibly, if you do get a job loss, if you're confronted with that circumstance, maybe this is a great opportunity for you to start looking into other career avenues that are more recession proof, that are going to make sure that you have a consistent income coming in. Or maybe it means that you add on another side hustle or side business idea that could help with maintaining your income flow and cash flow during times like this in the future. Things like that. There's also in terms of investments, or possibly depending on what happens with the housing market or interest rates. There's a great quote by Warren Buffett that says, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. And the idea behind that is that when other people are fearful of what's going on and don't make financially great decisions, those are opportunities for you to step in and make the good choices and make the smart investment decisions to invest in certain companies that are way down, that have a very good probability of rebounding or jumping back up. Let me know in the comments down below what you have done or have not done in terms of this crisis. If you have any comments, I want to know where you guys are at and if there's any way that I can help.